today we're making a very simple antipasto called prosciutto and melons. Now, prosciutto is a very salty ham that is kind of a cross between ham and bacon. This ham is cured in Emilia-Romagna. Now, Emilia-Romagna is a famous region in Italy where this meat is cured. But just because it's cured doesn't mean cured is the only way you will have it, or it is the only way prosciutto is good. Because cured is just like they put like little stuffing in the meat to make it to add more flavor. So this book right here is called The Silver Spoon Children. Now, The Silver Spoon Children is a cookbook we're going to be using that has all sorts of different kid Italian recipes. Now, this recipe we're going to be looking off so we don't make any errors while making prosciutto and melons. So, this is, right here, lunches and snacks, right here. So we're going to go to the very first page here. And the very first page says the recipe that we need to do. So I'm going to read it to you, and then we're going to start cooking. So prosciutto and melon. Prosciutto is a delicious kind of ham, and its salty flavor goes very well with this sweet melon. In this popular appetizer or antipasto, choose small white melons for this recipe so that they are easy to cut. Cantaloupe and honeydew are best, but any type is good. Cantaloupe are round, with pale green bumpy icon and delicious orange flesh inside. Honeydew melons are often bigger and slightly more oval and have yellow-green skin and pale green flesh. Now let's look at the recipe. Now, for the making of prosciutto and melon, we need 2 small white melons, which we have that right here. We also need 1 12 slices of prosciutto and 2 or 3 slices for each person, because prosciutto and melon is supposed to be only for like 3 people, not 2, because this is not a main course. This is just a little antipasto, so I'm not going to close this book because I don't want to mess up while making it. Now, we're going to talk about the melon first, because as prosciutto sits, they say it gets stinkier. So let's talk about melon. So you can make melon balls, which we did here, but I thought that would be a little harder to make because if we dig down deep, it ruins the orange flesh. So we're only going to kind of decorate it like 4 slices. So I'll show you how that goes along once we make the interior of the dish. So, to cut a melon, you need to know this, because otherwise your melon will not be the way you intend, or will not be the way it will look in this book here. So we're going to cut down the middle, and don't try to press on it. Just kind of go gently. So you might have to move some because it might come out all toontoes. So then cut maybe like 1 more slice here. That was too small, but it'll be alright. So we have 4 slices. We really don't need much melon because in this book it only has like 3 slices. We don't need very much. So we're going to put our melon on this bowl here. Then we're going to bring over our other bowl And we're going to cut again. Now, as I said in the last video, you should always get fruits or vegetables in season. Because first of all, they won't taste good. This smells a little, the season's over. It's like always fall now. But the most important thing is you really want a nice, juicy, soft melon, because then it'll be easier for you to cut. Now, melon is a vegetable that grows in the fields in the food mill, and it is famous, and the way they serve it is in a soup, actually. Because in the food mill, they make a very classic dish called soupa all'inglese. Soupa all'inglese means soup with chopped up melon on top. Because a lot of their soups are really spicy. Because they put sriracha, they put all different kinds of hot peppers. So what they're trying to do, that's not a very good slice, so I'm going to just get rid of that. What they do is they cut a melon because they don't want to have people who eat the soup get a really chapped lips and get sent to hell by eating it. So they try to make it sweeter for people who cannot handle it. The spice is overwhelming for them. Now, we cut up the melon slices. Now we're going to talk about prosciutto. Now, there is two kinds of prosciutto I knew. Now, prosciutto, the two prosciuttos I knew is prosciutto di Parma and prosciutto di San Daniele, which is in another region, Friuli Venezia Giulia, that grows in the north of the east of Italy. So, I'm going to remind you that when you cut this, you do not want to get rid of the fat. Because if you get rid of the fat, it will be a molar stem, which means it won't have that nice white flesh you really want. Because in Italy, they never waste anything unless it's bad for you. Because the classic way is to not remove the fat. So, they come with wrappers, and you don't want your dish to be inedible. So I will get rid of the wrapper. Whoops. Now, some prosciutto do not have a perfect interior, but it probably is going to have to be that way. So, now we're going to cut up little slices of all prosciutto. Now, it doesn't matter if you have prosciutto di Parma or prosciutto di San Daniele, but it does matter that you have a really good type of prosciutto that is edible for you to use. So, slices are not perfect. So now we have all different types of little slices. So what we're going to do when we serve this dish is we're going to spread them out. That one looks like a dolphin. But we're going to spread it out like that when we serve it. Then we're going to do the same thing. Now we might not use all this prosciutto because, as you can see, this bowl is not big enough. So we want to just kind of do this one a little neater. I hope this one may be a little better. Yeah, that's more neat. So then we're going to put the prosciutto on the bowl. It really doesn't matter what kind of prosciutto you use. Now just cut. Now, it doesn't matter how you cut, it just matters how you taste. It might not be the neatest. But yeah, it's going to have to be classic looking. So there. Then I think we might have room for like one more prosciutto slice here. Then I might want to get rid of this one because that is, well, I might want to just keep it because I'm making a beautiful presentation for this. So now we're going to put the prosciutto on the bowl and cut even slices. And it looks to me like I'm not a master cutter. I was going to do a sashimi cut. Now a sashimi cut means you're cutting very thin. Now that's what they do in Japan. I was seeing an episode of Andrew Zimmerman's Preserved Foods, and he was going to Seoul, South Korea, and he was having poison fish, not puffer fish, but very thin cut poison fish. And he said right before we ate it, if anyone calls me, if something happens, just in case something happens, will someone please call my family? And they cut it really thin, that like they don't want people to get sick. Believe me, if I was there, I'd probably freak out and run away from that food. So now we're going to make our presentation, but first I need to wash my hands because I have prosciutto spread all over them. Now, if you want to be a little more exotic, you don't make slices. But here, as you can see, they made slices. But if you want to give the lily, you put honey on it and then have a beautiful presentation. Because savory and sweet really makes a really good dish combination. So this is how we're going to do it. So we're going to make like a little bed. So what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these prosciutto slices and put it on the plate. Then we're going to do the same thing with this one. And then just keep layering until you have a nice even prosciutto slice here. So then put the prosciutto. Now I think sashimi slices are really beautiful because believe me, if you go to Seoul, South Korea or any place in Asia, you will always see sashimi cut, most popular in Japan. So now we're going to just continue layering our plate with slices. Now if you're not the neatest, it's okay. It's not like a royal command, but you really have to be neat about this. Then, after you have all your slices on your plate, this is what you're going to do. You're going to take your melon slices and set them on top of the prosciutto. So make a really bad. Now this is a really good trick if your slices are not that neat. So I am going to try to block all the spots that are not the best, not perfectionist cut. So we're going to still make a little bed. Now it says in the book that cantaloupe and honeydew are best for this. But I'm going to remind you that any melon is fine. I wish I had more melons. Then, last of all, we are going to decorate our melon balls around the plate, around the exterior of the plate. Now, this kind of looks like a false coast, and yeah, it can be kind of crowded. But the important thing about it is it has to look beautiful and it has to taste good. That's where you want to go. So, this is your prosciutto and melon plate. And until I see you again on Ever Cody, see you next time. And next time, I'll be making one of the most simple, favorite desserts, a root beer float.